So again, are you ready? Are you ready for this? I'm going to keep asking you, because the number one killer of dreams is, I'm not ready. Yes, you are. You're here with us. So, no more doing it alone. Look around this room. We are still in this together. Right? Take a look. Look at your people. Look all the way around. We're here. There's eyeballs and smiles and hearts right next to you that know the experience of life. It gets challenging. It gets rough. It gets abrasive sometimes. And the best thing to help us through this is human connection. And that is the most important thing here. And we can sit there and I think a lot of us shame social media, but social media is not the problem. The problem is all of us not willing to make human connections. We can just as much choose to put it down, put it away, and walk over to our neighbor's house and say, hey, you want some tea? But we choose not to. So take responsibility for the relationships that are in your life, because those relationships really is going to be what helps you pull, or what helps pull you out of the ruts when you get in them, because you will get in them. I had a particularly challenging day in the last few months, and I really, really, really have been exploring the value of relationships again in these last few months since the last Become. The value of relationships really being like the single most important thing that I've realized in life. It doesn't matter how much money anybody's making. I mean, that's great and that's wonderful. And it doesn't really matter where it is that you're living. It doesn't really matter what kind of clothes you're wearing. It doesn't really matter any of these things. But really and truly, the scale of happiness is determined upon human connection. You know, in some third world countries, their level of happiness in those countries is higher than what we would consider first world wealthy countries. It's human connection. It's that being able to dance in the street, whether you're barefoot or not. It's that being able to see and laugh and giggle and to be a part of a tribe, which we here in America, unfortunately, are being divided and divided and divided and divided. So it's up to us to be able to create those relationships. And that's where, for me, in the value of this last weekend, in sharing these really intimate, beautiful, family-like experiences with people who I am not a biological family member of, but who I do feel very much like family every time I walk into their house, that, to me, is the most valuable thing that I have in my life. And not just in those circumstances, with so many people in this room. And for those of you that I don't know on that level, I do want to get to know on that level. In whatever way, shape, or form that takes. It's really, to me, it's amazing. And in the days that I've had, like, I think one of my Facebook posts was, today hurt, send love. Really simple, super vague. I'm not trying to share every detail that's going on, but the response that I got from that quite literally lifted me up. And I was not expecting that. I didn't know that existed. And for me, even though it's just as simple as a Facebook comment, it matters. It matters because behind that comment is a human being. And that human being, because I also attract very empathetic people, that human being is making a connection with me that says, I care. And for me to even not acknowledge that comment as a way for them to say, I care, I think would be doing me and that person a disservice. So there's a beauty in the reciprocation of, one, what it is that I offer and I put out into the world, and then also what I'm able to receive. That honestly, that day and that post gave me so much more stamina and hope just for myself and getting through the pain that I was in at that time. That it matters. It matters. That it isn't, and that was another part of the reason I chose to change the structure of the Intuitive Connection Academy. Before that, I was very, very serious that I wanted it to be like an academy, that tuition was taken seriously. I wanted to start increasing the prices because I really wanted people to take it seriously. And I do eventually want to be able to grow into having a university of psychic and personal development, because I do believe that that is the highest form of intelligence that we can teach other people, is how to connect with themselves as spirit, themselves as soul. To me, it is just as credible about teaching somebody how to build a ship through calculus and math and engineering. It is just as important to focus on the human psyche rather than what it is that we can build. So for that was the direction I wanted it to go in. After these heartbreaking experiences and days that just kept happening over and over, I decided that that wasn't what I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to reach a much larger audience. I wanted to have an impact. I wanted to build relationships. I wanted people to know each other. I love that Jen and Amber, you two had never met in person, but to even be able to see each other's face and be like, I know you. It's like the ice has already been broken. You know, there is something really beautiful about social media and connecting people. I know Grace from your Reno video. I love it. It's so great. But these things that we put out there, they do manifest and become real life human being connections that is the bread and butter, like the heartbeat of why it is that we're here, to experience relationship. Is it not true that relationships are the most challenging part of our lives? Relationship with our boss, relationship with our family, relationship with our lovers, relationship with whoever, right? All the lovers, all at one time. But those relationships they are what help us ascend. Without heartbreak, we wouldn't know the value of true love. So don't overlook the relationships that are in your life, those relationships that you're thinking about right now, where you're like, wow, I really could apologize. I really could step forward and be like, hey, I actually really do care about you, and I want you to be in my life, and this matters. So just taking a look at that also, because it's going to determine your power of joy. That if what brings you joy is your family, your children, the laughter, it's hard to get to that belly laughing point by yourself, right? Unless maybe you fall down and nobody sees it, and then you're still like, man, I don't even have anybody to laugh at this with me.